In 2026, we live in a digital panopticon. You cannot buy a coffee, drive a car, or walk down a London street without leaving a data trail. We are watched. We are recorded. We are archived. So how does the most documented human being on the planet just stop existing? No body, no crime scene, no conclusion. When a public figure dissolves into thin air, it feels like a glitch in the simulation. It violates the modern contract of visibility. We assume cameras are everywhere. We assume the famous are never truly alone. But we are wrong. From the crushing disappointment of the 2025 Amelia Earhart sonar scan to the gruesome new theories about Jimmy Hoffa's final hour, we are going to rip open the files on the famous who stepped into the void. This isn't just about missing persons. This is about the mechanisms, the ocean, the mob, and the state that allow a human to become a ghost. You clicked this video because you want to know where they went. You want the answer. But be warned, in some of these cases, the answer is far worse than the mystery. Before we open the first file, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are digging into cold cases that powerful people want to keep hidden, and you don't want to miss what we find next. Let's start with the wound that refuses to heal. Amelia Earhart. She was an American aviation pioneer. On July 2, 1937, she disappeared over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to become the first female pilot to circumnavigate the world. The narrative is always the same. She was flying the longest leg of her world tour, 2,556 miles to Howland Island. She ran out of gas. She crashed. She sank. But in early 2024, the world stopped breathing. A private firm called Deep Sea Vision released a sonar image captured at 16,000 feet. It showed a shape. Twin stabilizers, the exact dimensions of a Lockheed Electra. It looked like the answer. The internet exploded. We finally had her. Then came the 2024 update, and it was a gut punch. They went back with high-resolution cameras. They looked the mystery in the eye, and the mystery laughed. It wasn't a plane. It was a rock formation. Tony Romeo, the man who led the hunt, called it the cruelest formation ever created by nature. This failure hurts because the alternative is so much darker. The crash and sink theory is clean, it's quick, but the evidence points to a slow, agonizing erasure on Gardner Island. Radio operators heard signals after the plane supposedly went down. That means the engine was running. That means she was on land. We found a heel from a woman's shoe. We found a zipper. And in 1940, they found bones. A British officer found a partial skeleton. He measured them. Then, in a display of absolute colonial incompetence, he lost them. Gone. But the data survived. A 2018 analysis of those measurements proved those bones matched Earhart's physique more closely than 99% of the population. She didn't drown instantly. She waited on a reef, calling for help that never came, while the tide slowly washed her plane and her hope away. The Pacific Ocean is a mechanism of total erasure. It doesn't just kill you, it scrubs you from the server. And she isn't the only one. In 1972, House Majority Leader Hale Boggs sat on a Cessna 310C in Alaska. He was a powerful man. He sat on the Warren Commission. He had enemies. The plane took off towards Juneau and vanished. The U.S. government launched the largest search in history up to that point. 325,000 square miles. They found nothing. Zero debris, no ELT signal. It is actually eerie how there was no trace of anything anywhere. It is actually eerie how there was no trace of anything anywhere. Boggs had recently attacked the FBI for wiretapping Congress. Was it a bomb? A prisoner later claimed he planted one for the Detroit mob. Or was it simply the Alaska Triangle, a frozen graveyard that swallows metal and bone alike? Here is the twist. As the climate warms and the glaciers recede in 2026, old wreckage is starting to thaw out. The ice is giving up its dead. We might actually find Boggs. But the question is, will we find a crash or a crime scene? Nature is cruel, but it isn't malicious. People are malicious. When a celebrity vanishes in the city, it's not an accident. It's a transaction. It's an extraction. And nobody defines this better than Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa was an American labor union leader who served as the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the IBT, From 1957 to 1971, he was alleged to have ties to organized crime and disappeared under mysterious circumstances in 1975. For 50 years, the joke has been, where is Hoffa? Is he under Giants Stadium? Is he in a Florida swamp? We know the setup. July 30th, 1975. Hoffa goes to meet mob bosses Tony Giacalone and Tony Provenzano. He gets into a maroon Mercury Marquis driven by his own foster son, Chucky O'Brien. That's it. End of story. Until 2025. Investigative journalist Scott Bernstein dropped a theory that makes the Giant Stadium rumor look like a bedtime story. Based on the FBI files and deep source informant testimony, the sausage auger theory has taken center stage, and it's one that will shiver down anyone's spine. The theory states Hoffa wasn't buried. He was taken to a rendering plant. His body was put through a commercial sausage auger. He was ground down, processed, and then incinerated. Think about the level of hatred required for that. They didn't just want him dead, they literally wanted him unmade. They turned a human being into industrial waste. This explains the lack of forensic evidence. There is no body to find because the body was converted into ash and smoke. This is the efficiency of the mob. It is industrial-scale disposal. But the mob isn't the only organization that makes people disappear. Sometimes the government does it. In the West, if you break the law, you go to court. In China, you go into the void. Fan Bingbing was the most famous actress in China. She was Iron Man 3 famous. She was the face of Louis Vuitton. She had 62 million followers. On July 1st, 2018, she evaporated. Her social media went dark. Her office was emptied. Her staff vanished. For 3 months, the world's highest paid actress simply did not exist. Rumors flew. Was she in a black jail? Was she dead? Was she seeking asylum in LA? The truth was colder. She had been erased by the state for tax evasion. She used yin-yang contracts, one contract for the tax man, one for the bank account. The government needed to send a message about the worship of money. She reappeared in October, but look at the difference. The glamour was gone. She issued a groveling apology, praising the party, and paid a fine of $130 million. She came back, but Fan Bingbing, the icon, was dead. This is social death. The state didn't kill her body. They killed her influence. They proved that no matter how famous you are just a variable that can be deleted from the equation. We understand murder. We understand plane crashes. But what happens when the celebrity chooses the void? Richie Edwards was the lyricist for the Manic Street Preachers. He was the poet laureate of the depressed generation. On February 1st, 1995, he checked out of the Embassy Hotel in London. He drove to his apartment. He drove to a service station. And then he vanished. For years, the story was simple. The tortured artist jumped off the Severn Bridge. Case closed. But the details don't fit. They scream at us. The toll booth receipt for the bridge was originally reported at 2:55 p.m. But investigators later confirmed it was 2:55 a.m. That is a 12-hour gap. Where was he? Who was he with? And then there is Vivian. In the hotel room the night before he left, Richie was with a woman. She has never been identified. She has never come forward. Why? If your friend jumps off a bridge, you talk to the police. If your friend is executing an escape plan, you stay silent. Sightings of Edwards poured in from Goa, India for a decade. Did he kill himself, or did he pull the ultimate rock and roll move? Did he realize that to save his life, he had to kill his name? But sometimes you don't walk away. Sometimes Hollywood eats you. Jean Spangler, 1949, a 26-year-old dancer and actress. She kissed her daughter goodbye, said she was going to a night shoot, and walked into the dark. 2 days later, they found her purse in Griffith Park. The strap was torn. It looked like a struggle. Inside, there was a note, and this note is the stuff of nightmares. Kirk, can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work best this way while Mother is away. Kirk? As in Kirk Douglas? Gene had worked as an extra on his film. Douglas immediately called the police to clear his name, saying he barely knew her. And Dr. Scott? The leading theory is a botched illegal abortion. In 1949, you didn't go to a hospital. You went to a Dr. Scott in a back alley. It will work best this way. But Jean was also seen with associates of Mickey Cohen, the LA mob boss. Some even tried to link her to the Black Dahlia murder just 2 years prior. Was she silenced by a star, a doctor, or a mobster? The note is a breadcrumb trail that leads off a cliff. Jean Spangler didn't just die. She became a warning to every girl who stepped off a bus at Union Station dreaming of fame. Why do these stories haunt us? Why do we care about a missing pilot from 1937 or a missing musician from 1995? Because they represent a glitch. We are sold a lie. The lie is that if you are famous, you are immortal. We think that if millions of people are watching you, you are safe. But the ocean doesn't care about your fame. It will turn your plane into a rock. The mob doesn't care about your power. They will process you like livestock. The state doesn't care about your followers. They will hit delete. These disappearances terrify us because they prove that the contract of visibility is void. You can be the most watched person on Earth, and in a single second, the feed can cut to black. Which case keeps you up at night? Do you think Richie Edwards is alive in India? Is Hoffa really in a landfill? Let us know in the comments, and if you want to see us crack open more files that the industry wants to keep shut, hit that like and subscribe button. It tells the algorithm that you want the truth. I'll see you in the next one.